Alright. Yeah, baby. Let's do this again. Apollo should be. We had to read 37 different things on settings to figure out what they were and what they did. But hey, I'll respect YouTubers a little bit more.
Got some rare things on sale, stranger. What are you selling?
Stuff. Things. So with things. Resident Evil. Biological outbreaks. Kind of remind you of the bit, right? The thing, you know?
What are you buying?
Your choice, stuff. Stick this in your arm. Project it. All these people have died.
What are you buying?
Anyone out there, you need to read the Fauci book, dude. It's so disgusting. That's like the only book I cannot finish because it's so goddamn disgusting, bro. Like this person, here's
Is that
tree,
all?
brother.
Thank
tree.
you.
Like I can read 89-hour terminology psychology, which is the most drudgery thing you'll ever read in life, and I can read that book.
Is that all, stranger? Thank you.
Then I even read it when I was sleeping to try to ascertain the information and all this stuff. Like I did everything I could. Holy free holies.
Is that all, stranger?
Going. Oh. This is.
What are you buying? What are you selling? Is that all, stranger? Thank you.
$1998. I'll never forget it. It was the year when those grisly murders occurred in the Arklay Mountains. Soon after, the news was out to the whole world, revealing that it was the fault of a secret viral experiment conducted by the international pharmaceutical enterprise, Umbrella. The virus broke out in a nearby mountain community, Raccoon City, and hit the peaceful little town with a devastating blow crippling its very foundation. Not taking any chances, the President of the United States ordered a contingency plan to sterilize Raccoon City. With the whole affair gone public, the United States government issued an indefinite suspension of business decree to Umbrella. Soon its stock prices crashed, and for all intents and purposes, Umbrella was finished. Six years have passed since that horrendous incident. I received special training via a secret organization working under the direct control of the president. I was to assume the responsibility of protecting the new president's family.
Cornel, why am I the one who always gets the short end of the stick?
You, who are you really? Come on and tell us.
Tell us.
You are a long way from home, cowboy. You have my sympathies.
Guess that's a local's way of breaking the ice. Anyway, you know what this is all about. My assignment is to search for the president's missing daughter.
What? All by yourself?
I'm sure you boys didn't just tag along so we could sing Kumbaya together at some Boy Scout bonfire. But then again, maybe you did.
Oh, you crazy American. It's a direct order from the chief himself. I tell you, it's no picnic.
I'm counting on you guys. It was right before I was to take on my duties of protecting the president's daughter when she was abducted. That's the ultimate reason I'm in this lonely and rural part of Europe. According to our intelligence, there's reliable information about a sighting of a girl that looks very similar to the president's daughter. Apparently, she's being withheld by some unidentified group of people. Who would have thought that my first job would have been a rescue mission?
It's freezing. So cold all of a sudden. Must be my imagination. Sorry it took so long.
Just up ahead is the village.
I'll go and have a look around.
We'll stay and watch the car. Don't want to get any parking tickets.
Right. Parking tickets.
Good luck.
Who the wants to get a parking ticket? God damn it, New York is bullshit on that
Jeez.
shit.
Who are
Right?
these guys?
What did you say?
Did you say something?
Leon, I hope you can hear me. I'm Ingrid Hunnigan. I'll be your support on this mission.
Loud and clear. Somehow I thought you'd be a little older. So the subject's name's Ashley Graham, right?
That's right. She's the daughter of the president. So try to behave yourself, okay?
Whoever this group is, they sure picked the wrong girl to kidnap.
I'll try to find some more information on my end as well.
Good. Talk to you later. Leon out.
Forget your makeup or something?
Oh my god, like the German flag.
Not that way, cowboy.
Oh, come on. He's gonna go ride the horse. Like, I think this thing we call cowboys. You know what? Can we do scary stories while we do this? Maybe we could. We're digging some Sasquatch stories later.
Excuse me. Sir? I was wondering if you might recognize the girl in this photograph?
¿Qué carajo estás haciendo aquí? ¡Lárgate, cabrón!
Sorry to have bothered you.
Oh, we... God, that wasn't a black one.
Freeze!
That should.
I said freeze!
Find black women by far like the sexiest. God damn, man, the attitude, bro.
Shit.
Is everything okay?
There was a hostile local. I had no choice but to neutralize him. There are still others surrounding the area.
Get out of there and head toward the village. Take whatever measures necessary to save the subject.
Understood.
Understood. This is called I'm a Fire Lookout in Yellowstone. So guys, I haven't been up to go in like 5,000 cities and go that It's super addicting and super cool. One of the best things I've ever done. Something in these woods shouldn't exist. 1 hour, 31 minutes, 25 seconds. And this is by Sound Stories. 13 days ago, 23,000 views. Let's add a view to the chest. I don't recall any of these stories. Wartime.
3 years of working these overnight shifts in Yellowstone's more remote areas have taught me to appreciate the predictable rhythm of radio checks, weather updates, and the occasional report of campers building fires too close to dry brush. The isolation never bothered me much. If anything, I preferred it to the chaos of the visitor centers during peak season. The tower sat 40 feet above the forest floor, giving me a clear view across miles of marching pine and Douglas fir that stretched toward the park's eastern rim. During the day, I could spot smoke from illegal campfires or track the movement of wildlife in the clearings. At night, the view turned into an ocean of darkness broken only by the occasional glint of moonlight on distant water. I was updating the evening's entries when the scream cut through the night. The sound hit me hard, raising every hair on my arms and sending an electric shock down the spine. In my 3 years working these isolated posts, I heard elk bugling during rut, the territorial calls of mountain lions, and the death cries of prey animals caught by predators. This was none of those things. The sound carried a human quality that made my stomach clench, but it was wrong in ways I couldn't immediately identify. Too long, too raw, filled with a terror that bounced off the trees long after the initial. I dropped my pen and grabbed the radio, my training taking over even as my mind struggled to process what I just heard. Base, this is Tower 7. I'm reporting a possible emergency situation. Sarah's voice came back crisp and professional, the way it always did during the night shift. Tower 7, go ahead. I just heard what sounded like a human scream coming from the northwest quadrant, approximately 2 miles from my position. Requesting immediate patrol response to investigate. Copy that, Tower 7. Patrol units are being dispatched to your area. Maintain your position and continue monitoring. Do not leave your post. Understood, Base. I set the radio down and moved to the northwest window, pressing my face against the glass as I looked around the tree line below. The forest looked exactly as it had 10 minutes earlier. Dark, still, and giving away nothing. But something had changed out there. Something that had made a person scream like their world was ending. The minutes crawled by with painful slowness. I checked my watch every few minutes, paced the small space of the tower cabin, and picked up the radio twice before setting it back down without calling. Sarah had been clear about staying put, and she was right to be. Tower protocol existed for good reasons, and I'd never been the type to go rogue just because my nerves were getting the better of me. But that scream kept playing in my head, and each time it did, my conviction that I followed orders weakened a little. 20 minutes after my initial report, I radioed for an update. Base, Tower 7, requesting status and patrol response. Tower 7. Units are en route but encountering some difficulty with access roads in your sector. Continue monitoring and report any additional activity. Difficulty with access roads. That was dispatcher speak for it's going to take a while. The northwest quadrant was rough country, full of old logging trails that hadn't been kept up in years, and creek beds that turned into muddy troughs after even light rain. If the patrol units were trying to get vehicles in there, they could be driving in circles for hours. I went back to the window and looked out at the darkness, trying to convince myself that whoever had screamed was probably already dead and managed to get themselves to safety. Either way, there wasn't much I could do from up there except wait for the professionals to handle it. Another 20 minutes passed, then another. The silence from the forest felt heavy now.
Leon, how you holding up?
Bad question, Hunnigan.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sending you a playing manual. Hope you find it useful.
I'll take a look at it, thanks.
Pressing down in a way that made me keep checking over my shoulder. I
What
worked
in-
dozens of overnight shifts without feeling this way, but something about tonight was different. The screen had marked a boundary, dividing the night into before and after, and I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever had happened was still happening. At 1:15, I made my decision. I gathered my gear the way I'd been trained to do for any backcountry expedition. LED flashlight with fresh batteries, backup flashlight clipped to my belt, handheld radio, first aid kit, emergency whistle, and my service knife.
Vayan por detrás.
Who are these people?
Bloqueen el
What
paso.
are they planning? Chainsaw. Shit.
Te voy a
Don't have any ammo. You
Son
gotta
of
get that shotgun right here on the first playthrough.
Voy a hacer picadillo. ¡Cógelo! Te voy a hacer picadillo.
Done that. This will always be your choice.
Where's everyone going?
Bingo.
Bingo? Hunnigan, I have some bad news. I've confirmed the body of an officer. Something's happened to the people here.
Leon, you need to get out of there. Look for a tower and follow the trail near it.
Got it.
Yeah. What's up? Let me get the shot guy. More heavy ammo. I feel like the heat still kicked me. She said it wasn't like there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Back to scary.
I checked the radio twice to make sure it was working, then wrote a detailed note explaining my actions and left it where Sarah or the patrol units would find it on the desk. Gone to investigate emergency situation reported at 0020 hours. Northwest quadrant. Approximately 2 miles from tower. Radio contact maintained. Will report status every 30 minutes. Monsieur Walker, 0115. I locked the tower cabin, pocketed the key, and headed down the external stairs that wound around the tower's metal frame. The night air was cool against my face, carrying the scent of pine. The distant smell that creaked somewhere in the darkness. My boots rang against the metal steps, the sound bouncing off the surrounding trees in a way that made me wince. If anything was still out there, it would hear me coming from a mile away. But that scream had come from a human being, and even if the patrol units were on their way, they were clearly having trouble reaching the area. 3 years of working in wilderness rescue had taught me that the first hour after an emergency was often the most critical. If someone was hurt and bleeding out there in the dark, waiting for backup might mean the difference between a rescue and a body recovery. I reached the base of the tower and paused to get my bearings. The northwest quadrant stretched out before me, a maze of game trails and old fire roads that I knew better than most people knew their own neighborhoods. The scream had come from somewhere near Cedar Creek, where the terrain dropped into a series of small valleys that were popular with backcountry hikers. It was also an area where cell phone coverage was non-existent and where someone could easily get turned around if they were traveling at night. I turned on my flashlight and started walking, the beam cutting through the darkness ahead of me as I followed the main trail that would take me toward the creek. Behind me, Tower 7 rose like a skeletal finger against the star-filled sky, the cabin's windows reflecting my flashlight beam back at me until the trees closed in and blocked it from view. The forest felt different once I was inside it, the way it always did at night. During the day, these same trails were pleasant walks through postcard scenery. In the darkness, every shadow looked like something moving. Every snapping twig sounded like footsteps, and the spaces between the trees seemed to stretch on forever. I'd done plenty of night hiking during the training in my early years as a ranger, but it never got completely comfortable. The darkness leveled the playing field between humans and everything else that lived out. I walked steadily for 15 minutes, following the trail as it wound through stands of lodgepole pine across a series of small clearings, where the moonlight provided enough light to navigate without the flashlight. The night sounds were normal. Wind moving through the trees, the distant call around, the rustle of small animals moving through the plants. Whatever had caused that scream was either long gone or staying very quiet. The trail began to go down towards Cedar Creek, and I could hear the sound of running water somewhere ahead. This was the area where the scream had come from, and I slowed my pace as I looked around the darkness for any sign of human presence. Camping gear, abandoned backpacks, tracks in the soft earth near the creek. Anything that might tell me what had happened out here. I was 20 minutes into my hike when I heard the first branch snap. The branch snap came from directly ahead, followed by the sound of something large moving through the bushes with no care for being quiet. I stopped walking and turned off my flashlight, letting my eyes adjust to the moonlight coming through the tree cover. Whatever was making that noise was coming toward me, crashing through plants in a way that suggested panic rather than hunting. I held the flashlight tighter and listened to the approaching noise. Branches snapped one after another, along with the clear sound of someone stumbling over some fallen logs. Human movement, definitely, but shaky and desperate. The person was moving fast but clumsily, like they were running from something in an area they couldn't see from. The sounds got louder, and I heard heavy breathing mixed with what might have been crying. I clicked the flashlight back on and pointed the beam toward the noise, calling out in the firm voice I'd learned to use with lost hikers. "Hello, this is Ranger Walker with the National Park Service. Are you injured?" A figure burst through a cluster of young pines about 30 yards ahead, stumbling directly into my light beam. The person crashed to their knees, then struggled back to their feet, swaying badly. Even from a distance, I could see dark stains covering their clothes. I moved toward them quickly, but cautiously, keeping the flashlight trained on their face so I could see their expression. The guy looked young, maybe early 20s, with short brown hair and features that would probably be friendly under normal circumstances. Right now, his eyes were wide with terror, and his mouth hung open as he dragged air into his lungs in ragged gasps. "Hey, take it easy," I said, closing the distance between us. "I'm here to help. What's your name?" "Tyler," he managed between breaths. "Tyler Garcia. Oh God, you have to. We have to get out of here right now." I reached him and immediately understood why he was having trouble breathing. 4 parallel cuts ran diagonally across his chest, starting near his left shoulder and going down toward his ribs. The cuts had torn through his t-shirt and gone deep enough into the skin beneath that blood had soaked the fabric and was still flowing steadily. The wounds were too clean, too evenly spaced to be from any kind of accident. "Jesus, what happened to you?" I pulled out my radio with one hand while examining his injuries with the flashlight. "Base, this is Walker. I found an injured hiker at my location. Male, early 20s, multiple lacerations to the chest. I need immediate medical evacuation." Tyler grabbed my arm with both hands, his fingers digging into my jacket sleeve. "No, you don't understand. It's still out there. It killed Michael, and it's coming for us. We have to run. Slow down. Who's Michael? And what's still out there? I tried to keep my voice calm while taking in more details about his condition. His left shoe was missing, and his sock was torn and bloody. Scratches covered his arms and face where he'd run through the trees. The kid was in shock, probably hypothermic, and losing blood at a rate that made me worry about how long he'd been running around out here. My brother, Tyler said, his voice cracking. We were camping by the creek, and this thing came out of nowhere. It grabbed Michael and just, God, the sounds he made. I tried to help him, but it was too strong, too fast. I ran, but it's been following me. It's been playing with me. Sarah's voice crackled through the radio. Walker, medical evac will take at least 90 minutes to reach your coordinates. Can you move the victim to a closer extraction point? Tyler heard the transmission and shook his head in frantic. 90 minutes? We'll be dead in 90 minutes. That thing is hunting us. It knows where we are. I looked around at the dark forest surrounding us, trying to process what Tyler was telling me. Animal attacks were rare, but not unheard of in this part of Yellowstone. Mountain lions occasionally went after campers, and there had been a few grisly incidents over the years. But the wounds on Tyler's chest looked too precise, too deliberately placed. And his description of something hunting them suggested behavior that didn't match any predator. What kind of animal was it? I asked, while he leaned against a tree trunk to take weight off his injured leg. Bear? Mountain lion? It wasn't an animal, Tyler said, his voice dropping to a whisper. It was tall, maybe 7 feet, and thin like it hadn't eaten in months. But it moved wrong, like its joints were in the wrong places. And its face. He trailed off, staring past me into the darkness. I followed his look, but saw nothing except the normal shadows between the trees. Tyler, you're in shock. Sometimes when people are traumatized, they don't remember things clearly. Why don't we focus on getting you medical attention, and then we can worry about it? A massive crash carried through the forest behind Tyler. The sound of something large hitting a tree trunk hard enough to shake the branches. Tyler spun around, lost his balance, and fell against me. I caught him with my free arm while swinging the flashlight toward the sound. It found us, Tyler whispered. Oh God, it found us. Another crash, closer this time, followed by the distinctive sound of wood splintering. Whatever was making that noise was moving in our direction with purpose, no longer concerned about stealth. I could hear branches breaking in a steady rhythm that suggested something large pushing through the bushes in a straight line. Tyler tried to stand up straighter, panic giving him a burst of energy. Please, we have to run. It killed Michael, and it's going to kill us too. You have to believe me. The crashing sounds were getting closer, accompanied now by a low noise that might have been breathing, but was too deep and too rhythmic to come from any animal I recognized. I made a decision based on 3 years of wilderness experience and the absolute terror in Tyler's voice. Okay, we're moving. Can you walk? I think so. I started to turn back toward the trail when something massive burst through the trees behind Tyler. In the split second before everything went wrong, my flashlight beam caught a glimpse of pale skin stretched over an impossibly tall body. The thing moved with a smooth motion that seemed to bend physics, covering the distance between the trees and Tyler in less time than it should have taken. Tyler opened his mouth to scream, but the sound cut off suddenly as something yanked him backward into the darkness beyond my light. The silence that followed lasted maybe 2 heartbeats before other sounds began. Sounds that my brain tried to label as falling branches or an animal feeding, but which my gut knew was something else entirely. The wet tearing noise came first, followed by the clear snap of bones breaking under pressure. Tyler made one more sound, a choked gasp that turned into something I'd never heard a human voice make before. Then, nothing except the continued sounds of destruction happening just outside the range of my flashlight. I stood completely still, every muscle in my body locked in place while my mind tried to process what had just happened. Tyler was standing right next to me, talking about his dad, begging for help. Now he was gone, pulled into the darkness by something that moved too fast for him to see. The sound stopped.
A little rough, don't you think?
The forest fell completely silent, except for my own breathing, which seemed
You're
impossibly
not
loud
like
in the
them?
sudden quiet.
No.
I realized.
You?
Okay, I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Yeah, cigarette?
Got gum.
Just been kidnapped to get a cigarette. Hell, even I did.
Perfect. The big
Child human
cheese.
trafficking survived
What?
the United States government and Tijuana Cartel. I'm seeing you. Alright. Save it, check it out, see how it's doing. Maybe it's correct. With the steak. I guess like and subscribe and put this out there for everyone. Put it out there for our own immortality. I love gaming. It's a great fucking game. So, come back. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Finish the scary story. I kind of like this one. We're 16 minutes 50 seconds in. This is by Insomnia Story. Listen to part from the factory process. Alright, everybody. Dr. Nick, check it out.